When it comes to tractors, power and innovation can make or break a machine. But what happens when a tractor is decades ahead of its time, yet fails spectacularly? From triple engines to futuristic designs, some tractors promised to revolutionize farming, but ended up as monumental flops. In this video, we're uncovering 10 tractors that were insanely innovative, shockingly powerful, and yet completely misunderstood by the world. Number 1. Doe Triple-D. The Doe Triple-D tractor, introduced in the 1960s by the British manufacturer Doe, remains one of the most unusual and ambitious tractor designs in agricultural history. Unlike conventional tractors, which relied on a single engine, the Triple-D featured 3 separate engines, 2 diesel engines working in tandem, and a smaller petrol engine. This design was aimed at delivering unprecedented power and versatility, especially for heavy-duty farming tasks such as plowing large fields and hauling heavy loads. At a time when conventional tractors were limited in horsepower, the Triple-D was revolutionary because it sought to combine the strength of multiple engines to achieve a level of output that no single-engine tractor could provide. The dual diesel configuration allowed for both traction and torque optimization, while the petrol engine was intended for auxiliary functions, making the tractor seem like a mechanical marvel. However, despite its innovative concept, the Triple-D's complexity turned out to be its Achilles heel. Maintaining and synchronizing 3 engines proved extremely difficult for farmers, who were accustomed to simpler machines that required minimal technical expertise. Breakdowns were common, and repairs were expensive and time-consuming. Additionally, the tractor's sheer size and weight made it impractical for smaller farms, and the lack of spare parts for such a unique design further complicated its usability. The Triple-D's ambitious attempt to push agricultural machinery to new limits ultimately failed to align with the practical needs of everyday farmers. While it has earned a cult following among tractor enthusiasts and collectors, its commercial life was brief, and only a limited number were produced. Today, the Doe Triple-D is remembered not just as a failed tractor, but as a symbol of engineering daring, a machine that dared to be ahead of its time, but faltered in the real-world demands of agriculture. Its story serves as a reminder that innovation alone cannot guarantee success, especially in industries where reliability, simplicity, and accessibility are paramount. Number 2. Pavesi P4. The Pavesi P4, developed in Italy in 1918, was among the pioneering attempts to create a 4-wheel drive tractor for agricultural use. During the early 20th century, most tractors relied on rear-wheel drive, which limited their traction and performance on uneven or muddy terrains. Pavesi's engineers designed the P4 with an articulated chassis and power distributed to all 4 wheels, significantly improving maneuverability and efficiency on hilly landscapes or difficult soil conditions. The tractor was especially notable for its use of advanced mechanical linkages and its ability to handle larger implements compared to contemporaries. Its articulated design allowed the front and rear sections to pivot, making it more flexible and capable of negotiating tight corners and rough terrain. Despite these technical innovations, the Pavesi P4 struggled to gain widespread adoption. One major factor was its high production cost. Manufacturing a 4-wheel drive system with an articulated frame in the early 20th century required precision engineering and materials that were expensive, making the tractor significantly more costly than standard models. Additionally, the market for such advanced tractors was relatively small, as most farmers operated small to medium-sized plots and could not justify the high expense. Mechanical reliability was also a concern, as the intricate drive system required regular maintenance that was difficult for farmers to manage at the time. Consequently, the Pavesi P4, while visionary in its engineering, failed to become a commercial success. Its influence, however, should not be understated. The concepts pioneered by Pavesi, articulation for maneuverability and 4-wheel drive traction, would later become standard in high-performance tractors. In hindsight, the P4 was a product ahead of its time, foreshadowing innovations that would only become widely practical decades later. Number 3. MB Trac. The MB Trac, introduced by Daimler-Benz in the 1970s, was a bold attempt to merge the capabilities of a tractor with the utility of a truck. Unlike conventional tractors, which were strictly designed for agricultural applications, the MB Trac featured a forward-mounted cab, providing excellent visibility and a more ergonomic workspace for the driver. Its powerful engine and robust construction allowed it to handle both fieldwork and on-road tasks, making it a hybrid vehicle in the truest sense. This versatility was its key selling point, as it promised farmers a machine that could double as both a farm tractor and a transport vehicle, reducing the need for multiple specialized machines. Despite these advantages, the MB Trac encountered several obstacles that prevented it from achieving lasting commercial success. The cost of producing such a complex vehicle was high, and the resulting purchase price placed it out of reach for many farmers. Additionally, the unique design required specialized maintenance and parts, which were not always readily available through dealerships, limiting support in rural areas. Farmers often found that while the MB Trac could perform multiple functions, it did not excel as a pure tractor or as a pure truck, leaving some customers dissatisfied. By the early 1990s, production had ceased, and the MB Trac became a niche machine mostly appreciated by enthusiasts. Nevertheless, it remains an iconic example of innovative thinking in tractor design, demonstrating Daimler-Benz's willingness to explore unconventional ideas. The MB Trac's story highlights the challenges of introducing hybrid technologies into conservative markets that prioritize reliability and simplicity over versatility. Number 4. Graham-Bradley Tractor. The Graham-Bradley Tractor, manufactured during the Great Depression, was a striking example of design meeting ambition in the agricultural machinery sector. At a time when the economic climate was harsh and farming was under immense financial pressure, Graham-Bradley attempted to create a tractor that combined style, durability, and mechanical innovation. The machine was robustly built, featuring high-quality components that promised longevity and performance. It also stood out visually, with a design that many enthusiasts describe as more stylish and modern than most tractors of that era. Despite these qualities, the tractor failed to achieve commercial success. The timing of its release during the Great Depression meant that farmers were extremely cost-conscious and often unable to invest in high-end machinery. Furthermore, Graham-Bradley lacked the distribution networks and financial resources of larger competitors, making it difficult to scale production or support customers effectively. Mechanical reliability was generally solid, but the high price and limited availability sealed its commercial fate. Production of the Graham-Bradley tractor was short-lived, and today surviving examples are rare collector's items prized for their historical significance and unique design. The tractor's story illustrates how even superior engineering and design cannot overcome economic realities and market conditions. It is remembered not only for its failure but also as a symbol of the ambition and craftsmanship of an era that sought to push agricultural technology forward, despite financial hardships. Number 5. Allis-Chalmers D19. Introduced in 1961, the Allis-Chalmers D19 was a forward-thinking tractor designed to offer exceptional power and advanced features for the farming community. Equipped with a 6-cylinder engine and a turbocharger, the D19 was capable of handling heavy-duty tasks and large-scale farming operations, setting new standards for speed and efficiency in agricultural machinery. Its design included modern hydraulics and transmission systems, aiming to make the workday easier for farmers while increasing productivity. Despite its promising specifications, the D19 faced several critical challenges that undermined its success. High fuel consumption was a significant concern, particularly during a time when operational costs were a key consideration for many farmers. Additionally, the tractor suffered from mechanical reliability issues, including problems with the engine and turbocharger that required frequent maintenance and repairs. These complications diminished the tractor's reputation and discouraged potential buyers. Another contributing factor to its limited adoption was its price. The D19 was more expensive than comparable models from competitors, making it less accessible to the average farmer. Production lasted only a few years before Allis-Chalmers discontinued the model, and although it was an engineering marvel in many respects, it could not overcome the combination of operational, economic, and market challenges. Today, the D19 is remembered as a powerful, technologically advanced tractor that was simply too ambitious for its time, highlighting the delicate balance between innovation and practicality in agricultural machinery. Number 6. International Harvester 460, 560. The International Harvester 460 and 560 tractors, introduced in the late 1950s, were part of International Harvester's ambitious new generation of farm machinery. At a time when mechanized farming was rapidly evolving, IH aimed to deliver tractors that combined modern design, versatility, and enhanced performance. The 460 and 560 models featured significant improvements over previous generations, including more powerful engines, improved hydraulics, and ergonomic designs intended to make long hours in the field less taxing for operators. They were positioned to compete with other leading manufacturers and were marketed as durable, reliable workhorses for medium to large-scale farms. Despite these advantages, the tractors quickly gained a reputation for mechanical problems, particularly with their final drives. The final drive, responsible for transmitting engine power to the wheels, was prone to excessive wear and failure under heavy loads or prolonged use. This created significant frustration for farmers, who faced costly repairs and downtime during critical planting and harvesting periods. Additionally, the tractors were more expensive than some competing models, making them less accessible to smaller farms that still relied heavily on cost-effective machinery. Maintenance challenges and the availability of replacement parts further hampered their adoption. The combination of ambitious engineering and practical shortcomings led to a tarnished reputation, and sales failed to meet expectations. Nevertheless, the 460 and 560 remain historically significant because they reflected international harvesters' attempt to innovate and modernize their product line. While the models themselves were commercially unsuccessful, they influenced the design and engineering of subsequent tractors and demonstrated how even well-designed machines can fail when mechanical reliability does not meet practical farming needs. Today, surviving 460 and 560 tractors are considered collector's items, appreciated for their engineering ambition and as reminders of the delicate balance between innovation and dependability in agricultural equipment. Number 7. Ford 6000s. The Ford 6000, launched in the 1960s, was Ford's ambitious attempt to introduce advanced technology into the tractor market. Designed to appeal to farmers looking for greater efficiency and ease of use, the 6000 featured several innovative features, including a power shift transmission and factory-installed power steering. These technologies were cutting-edge for their time, allowing operators to change gears without stopping and significantly reducing the physical strain of steering heavy implements. The tractor also offered improved hydraulics, greater fuel efficiency for its class, and a comfortable operator environment, reflecting Ford's goal of combining productivity with operator convenience. Despite these innovations, the Ford 6000 faced several critical issues that hindered its commercial success. One of the main problems was high production costs, which translated into a premium retail price that many farmers found prohibitive. Additionally, some early models suffered from mechanical reliability issues, particularly with the transmission and hydraulic systems, leading to expensive repairs and reduced confidence in the tractor's durability. Dealer networks were also limited in certain regions, making it difficult for owners to access replacement parts or specialized service, compounding frustrations. These challenges ultimately shortened the production run of the 6000, and Ford eventually discontinued the model in favor of other lines that offered more reliability at lower costs. Despite its failure, the Ford 6000 is remembered as a tractor that tried to push the envelope of agricultural technology. It demonstrated how innovation alone is not enough to guarantee commercial success if cost, reliability, and support infrastructure are not aligned with the practical needs of the farming community. Number 8. White 2105. The White 2105, introduced in the 1970s, was positioned as a high-powered modern tractor capable of handling demanding agricultural workloads. It boasted an impressive engine, robust chassis, and advanced features that, on paper, made it a competitor to leading tractors of the era. White sought to create a machine that could appeal to farmers requiring both power and versatility, aiming to handle large implements and challenging terrain with ease. However, the tractor's complex design became a major hurdle. Maintenance required specialized knowledge, and the intricate systems were prone to failures that left farmers frustrated and facing high repair bills. Another critical factor limiting its success was the relatively sparse dealer and service network. Farmers in rural areas often struggled to obtain parts or repairs in a timely manner, reducing the tractor's practical utility. Furthermore, while the 2105 was a capable machine, it was expensive, and many smaller or mid-sized farms could not justify the investment. These combined challenges resulted in limited sales and contributed to the decline of the White brand in the competitive tractor market. Over time, White tractors gradually lost ground to more reliable, cost-effective alternatives from other manufacturers. Despite its commercial shortcomings, the 2105 remains an example of ambitious engineering, demonstrating what happens when innovation is not matched by practicality and market readiness. Collectors and enthusiasts today often seek out surviving units for their historical value and engineering uniqueness. Number 9. Cockshutt 570. The Cockshutt 570, launched in the 1960s, was part of Cockshutt's final generation of tractors before the company's decline. Known for its powerful engine and modern styling, the 570 was designed to compete with North American manufacturers who were dominating the market. The tractor offered several advanced features for its era, including improved hydraulics, enhanced operator ergonomics, and compatibility with a range of implements. Despite these promising qualities, the 570 struggled commercially. Reliability issues, particularly with mechanical components like the transmission and hydraulic systems, created frustration among early adopters. Farmers found that the tractor required frequent maintenance, reducing the expected productivity gains. Additionally, Cockshutt's limited dealer network restricted access to spare parts and professional repairs, further eroding confidence in the brand. Production numbers remained low, and the tractor never achieved the market penetration of its competitors. These challenges ultimately contributed to Cockshutt's exit from the tractor market, marking the end of an era for the Canadian manufacturer. While the 570 was a capable and forward-thinking machine, it serves as a classic example of how mechanical reliability, service accessibility, and market reach are just as important as innovation. Today, the Cockshutt 570 is prized by collectors for its distinctive design and as a symbol of the company's ambition to compete with larger, more established manufacturers. Number 10. Avery Tractor. The Avery Tractor Company was one of the earliest pioneers in tractor manufacturing, establishing itself as a name associated with innovation and quality. From the early 20th century, Avery produced tractors that were technologically advanced for their time, incorporating durable engines and practical designs suited to the needs of American farmers. Despite producing well-built and innovative machines, Avery faced several challenges that ultimately led to its decline. Economic downturns, such as the Great Depression, significantly reduced the purchasing power of farmers, limiting sales of higher-end tractors. Moreover, competition from larger manufacturers like John Deere, International Harvester, and Ford intensified as these companies offered more extensive dealer networks, better service, and more aggressive marketing strategies. Avery's relatively smaller scale made it difficult to compete effectively, and its tractors, while innovative, could not achieve the sales volume necessary to sustain long-term operations. Over time, the company gradually lost market share, and the Avery brand disappeared from the agricultural landscape. Despite this, Avery's tractors are remembered for their engineering excellence and contribution to the evolution of mechanized farming. Surviving examples are sought after by collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate the company's dedication to innovation and the quality of its machines. Avery's story is a reminder that innovation must be supported by economic strategy, market penetration, and operational scalability to ensure commercial success. These 10 tractors may have failed commercially, but they left a mark in agricultural history as bold experiments in engineering. Which one amazed you the most? And which one do you think could have succeeded if the timing was right? Comment below, smash that like button if you love farm tech stories, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible tales from the world of machines.